Even though this is my first time playing Star Wars Outlaws, I heard all about how ridiculous the animations are for melee. Nothing like knocking a fully armored fit trooper out like he's made of glass. This feat of strength must be studied, and in order to do that, I shall embark on the challenge of beating Outlaws without any blasters. Many Star Wars criminals like Han Solo rely heavily on the blaster pistol at their sides, but Kay Vest's immense strength and explosives will have to do. But she's not alone, as her lifelong animal friend Nyx will make a vital difference as well. I am only referring to blasters as in handheld guns, and nothing to do with ships, so ship gameplay, which is pretty rare in the story anyway, doesn't have any challenge element. Honestly, because I didn't want to deal with that as I'm not interested in the ship gameplay much at all, and this challenge is focused on ground combat. All of this is on Scoundrel Difficulty. Let's go see which is more dangerous, all the might of the crime syndicates and the imperial power of the Star Wars galaxy, or one scoundrel's fists. I know it's a Ubisoft game because the first thing I do is spend money gambling. Kay Vest, our titular outlaw, needs some credits if we're ever leaving this planet, and that means robbing the Sixth Kin gang. Who could have guessed they'd have security alarms? But as long as I have Bacta, their armed men don't mean much when I can 1, 2, 3 knock out any of them. Stealth is fully optional. I may be alive, but I might not stay that way if I stay in town, so it's time for one last job if I ever want to get to Tahiti. Bram, my mentor and protector, sets me up with the mission to steal from Sleero, the leader of the Zarek Besh gang. Doing the job means infiltration, but what in the 9 moons? How is this possible? Coming off of Tomb Raider where Lara Croft uses climbing axes to climb these kind of craggly walls, how is Kay doing this? Is she related to Spider-Man? Does she just have amazing grip strength? If only she also got Spider-Man's agility, she might have survived these small gaps. But with me in control, she's doomed to die. What a horrific way to orphan Nyx. The meager security into this palace is easily pummeled with stealth, allowing access to their vaults, but a rebel spy is not the score I came here for. My new associates who helped me do this job, though, they're here for him. And since Kay doesn't want to play ball with the rebels, her payment comes in the form of an uninvited nap. Waking up to guns in my face, Sleero thinks I'm a rebel, but no one ever accounts for the Disney princess animal companion. Nyx really wants to be stared at and can get much more in their faces, something vital to lowering how many guns are pointed in my direction. Nyx has quite the resume, also boasting mastery in explosives, as well as his distraction expertise, really evening the odds so I can punch out the remaining security and flee in my newly stolen ship. Just for me to crash it into the first planet I can, as is Star Wars protocol. Great news is the first person I meet literally as I exit the downship is the Rhodian mechanic Waka. Exactly the kind of skills I need in this situation. What is terrible is Waka is in trouble like I am and needs Kay to clear out the 3 thugs hounding him. Here's where the game takes away the power of choice and forces me to use Kay's adrenaline rush power to do so, blasting all 3 thugs despite how much I try to say no. Fixing up my ship for flight, I put her right to work infiltrating this Imperial space station so I can delete criminal debts for the Crimson Dawn. Or at the last minute, framing the Crimson Dawn instead, because the Pikes hate me enough as is. I gotta share the hate. The only problem is Bosnok, this funny little alien in a jar, needs freeing, but saving him means the Imperials know we're here. Which is quite the problem since they're on the other side of this uncrossable room, and I'm not able to continue lest every single imp over there is dead. Nyx can't get any closer, and it's clear the blaster is what the game wants me to use. Bosnok spelled it out for me after all.
Talk like that is going to get you blasted.
Are you threatening me?
I'm just saying, wouldn't be such a shame if someone blasted you.
But that's why I have grenades, right? Oh, no! Bad news. The grenades are some of the worst grenades in the history of grenades. Where's a thermal imploder when you need it? Only way for a singular grenade to kill a full health trooper is if it causes a chain reaction to the explosive barrels nearby, and there's a lot more troopers than there are barrels. Sadly, my age-old trick in other games of getting the Imperials to blow themselves up has forsaken me here, as their grenades won't affect each other it seems. But when one ends up detonating the central large explosive barrel, all but a single trooper is blown to pieces. Sadly, the final guy won't toss himself over the side to let me progress, so I have to do it instead. I'd highly recommend resetting to the autosave instead of this tactic, as I have to reset over and over, trying to ensure all the Imperials are killed in the explosions. With only 3 grenades, it takes a while to make happen. But if I ensure the majority are in the middle of the room by running back and forth so they follow me, I can kill nearly every single enemy. Making sure to hold on to just 1 grenade in case this all fails, I wait for the last 2 troopers to stand close to each other, and boom! Problem solved. The rest of our escape is much smoother from there, as everyone is back in punchable range. Returning planetside, I take some leisure time beating Bosnok and some Sabak, and then I head deep into Imperial territory to free a Slicer so she can teach me how to slice. It's a good thing those helmets make these stormtroopers blind to peripheral vision, so I can easily sneak past most of them, and bash those unfortunate enough to spot me. With the slicing kit in hand, I now can hack more terminals, allowing me to get into more places and have more options, including the chance for more abilities that increase my stealth capabilities. I definitely need to work on my stealth, as seen when I test whether the Pike have good eyesight or not as I try to knock out one of them in the open so I can get into their storeroom. The answer is yes. Yes, they do have good eyesight, but really, they don't need good eyesight with how obvious this is. What was I possibly thinking? But why fight back when it's better for my reputation to just let them kill me? Also, I have a fun fact for you. Did you know that standing in the middle of a landing pad is really a good way to get flattened? Yeah, neither did I. It's crazy. In my quest to get the aid of a speeder mechanic, I have to go through a wind platforming trial, because of course. If it's a platforming game at all, there's always a wind trial, and I'm most certainly gonna be blown away. But if I do survive it, I have access to more skills such as the speeder boost, speeder jump, and smoke bombs most importantly. Wanting to upgrade them into concussive smoke bombs so I can stagger enemies, I take off to a nearby imp outpost, where stealth both makes light work of everyone, but also unlocks the very useful light-footed perk, so I can move around much faster without alerting anyone. Without a blaster, I might as well make sure I'm as powerful in everything else as I can get right now. If I'm ever going to get off this planet, I need a working hyperdrive, which needs a working nav computer. Waka points the way to a crashed High Republic cruiser, long abandoned for being too dangerous to scavenge, and I do what others avoid with my main character level luck, keeping me from dying, while I parkour haphazardly through the wreck. But that luck doesn't hold when 2 Zarek Besh members stroll in on the hunt for me. Horrendous news, they're immune to my super strength, apparently having invested in better armor than most thugs or any stormtrooper, and as I've established and continue to prove, my grenades are awful. Even with numerous explosives throughout this bridge, it's only by exploding every single one of them that I'm able to just barely kill both of them. Just as I acquire the navigation computer, Waka teleports in to betray me. He is the most obvious traitor, and yet I really had hoped he wouldn't. I mean, his entire bio screams that he's gonna betray me. But still, it's just sad. I wanted to like the guy. It's sadder for him, though, since he's immediately gunned down by Vale, the bounty hunter hunting me. Good thing I'm wanted more alive than dead, it seems. Vale would have me if not for the most stylish commando droid Indy 5 saving me. Indy works for a different crime lord, Jalen Vrax, another stylish individual who wants me to help him beat Sleero, which works since that's a top priority for me anyway, as having a death mark of 400,000 on my head isn't the most fun way to spend my predictably short life. If we're gonna do this mission, it's time to put together a team, which means freezing my butt off on a new planet. I'm here for Ankh, which I assume is short for ankle based on how tall she is, being a Chad Rafan explosives expert who's been imprisoned by the Ashiga clan. Rescuing my hairy little friend proves to be the most challenging mission of all. In all my explorations of the galaxy, I've come across many droids of varying degrees of danger, but my adventures as K-Vest without a blaster bring about the most dangerous droids of all, despite their rather scrawny appearance. Though hey, K-Vest isn't exactly pure muscle either, and yet we've seen how undeniably strong she is. Here's the problem, I've snuck by every other droid I've come across until now, but there's no sneaking past these final 2 droid guards. Even if I could somehow destroy them both with grenades, I still have no way to kill all the other guards on the other side of this room. I try to get Nyx to kill them with repeat attacks, but Nyx just doesn't have it in him to commit murder. I will try and fix that later. With no way forward unless my enemies are dead, I can either take the L and shoot these men, or have hope that I will gain better abilities if I quit the mission and go somewhere else for now. I'm always one for hope, because who isn't? So let's turn back time and hightail it off-planet to Akiva, the jungle planet, in search of upgrades. The Hutt cartel has a pretty decent grip on this planet. First I've really seen of them, and it doesn't take a genius to recognize melee fighting a vibro-axe carrying Gamorrean is a good way to die. That is, unless Nyx is clawing up their faces, then that's my chance to lay them out. I'm finding that breaking into fortified Imperial bases is the easy part, like when I go to save the droidsmith Gadik, as either stealth or just full-on brawling works plenty well. Endless injections of Bacta do wonders. It's the escape where things get difficult as I'm swarmed by speeder bikes and other troopers as I try to clear my wanted level before I'm overwhelmed. Which usually doesn't work out, but hey, death is the quickest way to no longer be wanted, unless by a necromancer, but thankfully there's none of those out here. Also, I can meet Tim and Wexley, the teenage mechanic prodigy who can fix my bike to go over water. Only problem is, he's under attack right now by an enemy group that includes my worst nightmare, a droid. There's only 2 grenades on me right now, as I used the rest fighting a shielded gunner shortly before, and they're not nearly enough to kill the droid. Explosives are nearby, but the droid intelligently sees them and chooses to keep the distance. Curse common sense being programmed into him. But not enough of it though, as there's less room to maneuver around the second explosive barrel, and I can successfully scrap my first droid enemy. It is so good to see Timon as well. For everyone who read the Aftermath series, which is set a couple years after this is a big win to see the lad. Where's Mr. Bones, his extremely deadly, terrifying, and lovable battle droid? He certainly could have helped here. Where's my spin-off droid game where L3, ND5, and Mr. Bones join together to cause chaos and fight for droid rights? Chopper can be there too, I guess, but I'm not sure if he'd be playing the villain of the story. It feels right for him. He's always playing the villain of the story, what am I saying? Back to this game though, Timon is another expert, which means more abilities for me to have. Most importantly, the extremely useful Electroshock Prod, which allows me to stealth take down elites and droids. I gotta say, I feel like the dumbness behind Kay's ability to knock out most enemies with just her fist would be fixed if she had a baton like Jyn Erso, but without one, I'll just stick to my headcanon that Kay Vest is not a human, but a near-human species, one with enhanced strength. Or as my friend likes to theorize, she's a cyborg. Either one works with me. Grabbing the Ion Smoke Bomb upgrade as well, I go to confront a Death Trooper squad that's been on my tail, and with my new upgrades, it is no sweat to put this Death Squad to death. I thought the Ion Grenade would just be useful for droids, but it turns out it electrocutes enemies, leaving them stunned and open for even more electrocution. I'm like a discount Palpatine! My stealth and melee options have vastly grown. Now if only I could see about improving my ranged options. The exact thing I'm thinking about when I'm attacked by a new improved Viper droid in its squad. But I do have one major boon. 2 charms in fact, one that gives me a minor boost and another a major boost chance to not use up a grenade whenever I throw one, which gives me the chance to continuously pelt the droid with explosives. Very, very weak explosives, as its health bar clearly shows, but still, I have a lot of them. And it keeps lowering its shield for me every time I throw one, which is really polite, thank you. Plus, there are rebels to the rescue courtesy of Gadik, and my Ion Bomb really works wonders, allowing me to survive this encounter. Getting attacked by so many more imps inside this next Imperial base, I'm really happy that the charm that gives me a major chance of regaining grenades also applies to Bacta, as I use probably an unsafe amount of it to stay in the fight as I pummel all the troopers left and right. Well, it works until it doesn't work. Perhaps helping the rebels just isn't worth the risk. Better to pull a Han Solo and wait till the fight is almost over to get involved and then take all the credit. No medal for me, but I'll take the new crew member and call it a day. From the wettest place in our journey to the driest. Tatooine means Tuskens, which for once doesn't mean outright violence. Well, not from the Tuskens anyway. I need to grab them a Crate Dragon Pearl so that they will give me Haas, the gunslinger recruit I came here for. With terrible grenades and just my fist on my side, I really hope this doesn't come to a fight. Well, with an actual Crate Dragon, it turns out it's just thugs guarding the stolen pearl, and they're no trouble. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed that I don't get eaten by a dragon or even have to fight one, but I guess I'll take it. Going to grab Haas for the job, he dares to try and trade Nyx in exchange for his gambling debt, which any harm done to Nyx is a death sentence, I'd say, but before she can do anything about it, down goes Kay. I'm used to waking up in a cell after moments like that, but nope, just missing Nyx. Haas gets a well-deserved beatdown, and now I have my little buddy to save. Nothing matters but him. Without Nyx, stealth is much harder, but honestly, who needs stealth when rage over my stolen child begs to be released, with so many victims volunteering as tribute? With my ion grenade, it is not a problem to decimate anyone who comes across me, stealth or no stealth, as I easily break into Jabba's palace in search of my little buddy. Only briefly being overwhelmed by combined Hound Bites and Blaster Barrage, I'm able to win when I prioritize the Beastmaster's death and grenade her poor biters. Nyx is safe, we're reunited, and then immediately we're captured by Jabba to be fed to his beast. But hey, Haas is the appetizer, which honestly just saves him from my wrath. Why flee with Vale, the bounty hunter that wasted Waka and has been chasing me so she can bring me in alive. She's now forced to help me if we're both gonna get out of this palace alive. Which doesn't seem very likely when a Rancor is unleashed upon us. Of course! We're in Jabba's palace! What else could you expect but to face off against Patissa the Rancor? Did you know he is the same Rancor doomed to die to Luke in less than a year? That is not good odds for our future, since I don't think Luke is hiding behind any of these crates. As you can probably guess, my fists don't quite measure up to Rancor's strength, and my grenades seem to be useless. Only means of damaging the bellowing beast is with the moving explosives above us. Why are there even moving explosives above us at all? Not a clue. Strange home decor choice, but the huts aren't known for being subtle or fashionable. My ion grenade can't seem to detonate the explosives, and my grenades are out of reach, so my way out of here is looking very blaster-shaped. I really don't want to do that though, so let's see what else I can do. Needing to find a way to get my grenades closer to the explosive barrels, I noticed the small openings where the barrels come into and out of have ledges. If I can get the Rancor close enough without getting my bones crushed, I can pop a grenade at just the right spot on the ledge, and boom goes the barrel. This blinds the Rancor long enough for us to get him to charge into the wall out of here. But of course, I have to do it 3 times, because everything is always 3 times. Thankfully, Vale accidentally let some more thugs into the room, which is great since I can get Nyx to rob another grenade off of them so I have as many as I can get. It's so good to have my little buddy back. With luck on my side, refilling the grenades as I use them, I can explode the barrels 2 more times, and Patissa can bash himself into Sleepyland while we escape through the Holy Maid. The shortest escape ever. Fun stuff. At least Jabba was so impressed that he lets us go on the condition that we steal data from an Imperial base for him. I could leave Tatooine now, but there's an expert I'd like to make friends with, a Jawa one. Kay is doing it for a turret on her side, but I only care about the potential abilities I might unlock. To get on the good side of the Jawa, though, I'll need to traverse deep into a dead Sarlacc to retrieve one of its teeth. Honestly, this is better than a live Sarlacc, and I've done that as Starkiller, so I'm okay with this. Of course, the moment I exit, I'm ambushed with a grenade and lose the tooth to a random bandit. Good thing grenades are the worst on all sides, leaving me perfectly fine and I can give chase on my speeder. I'm really psyched to see a crate dragon slide through the Dune Sea, which almost distracts me from the chase, but it's not hard to keep track of a guy when everything else is just sand and more sand. Anakin was right, it really does get everywhere. I have no ability to fire on this guy, so he would have been wise to just keep driving and driving, but stopping for backup means my opportunity to pounce and swipe the tooth so I can unlock the abilities. Then by attacking the closest Imperial base, I finally get both improved grenades at long last, and the ability for Nyx to detonate grenades that enemies are carrying. Like mother, like son. I think I've done enough upgrading. It's time to return to grab my little bat friend and hopefully, this time, come out on top. Which, let's skip the suspense and just say, it works out perfectly. With my little guy Nyx blowing up everyone alongside me with all my replenishing grenades, the factory guard stands 0 chance, and from there it's a breeze to take down both the Queen's guards and the Crimson Dawn when they try and take over. I still end up giving the Crimson Dawn overall control, but that's better than giving it to the Imperials, right? Of course though, now that everyone is ready for the heist, Indy 5, my beloved droid companion, isn't doing so hot after all the damage he's taken and is in desperate need of repairs. Headed back to Timon, he knows a way into an old Clone Wars factory, and hang on, is this Mr. Bones in the work? Rise, my evil child! Rise! Oh well, worth a shot. The factory is full of dead droids, angry frog-like beings, and sadness as Indy 5's mind and body fail him as we go. When the rebels show up and force me to help them in exchange for helping Indy 5, at this point nothing worries me as the build of replenishing grenades / Bacta, electricity, and Nyx following in my explosive footsteps means Huts or Zarek Besh or anything else that really tries can't stand against me. This saves Indy 5, which is great, but now Jalen, our boss, has recruited Kay's own mother, who abandoned her at 12 years old, and the rebel leader Asara to help us do the job. Both people that Kay hate. But hey, when your only other option is death by all the people hunting you for your 400,000 credit death mark, that's just barely enough of a reason to work with your less than stellar mother. Time for the heist. Honestly, the most challenging part of it is watching this little mouse droid sacrifice himself so we can get past the laser gate. It's just so heartbreaking. As for all the threats, there's always enough grenades, Bacta, and Shocky to go around. And with Vale throwing in with us, turning on Slero, we are good to go. Millions of credits richer. Vale doesn't kill him because she doesn't want to be in trouble for killing an ISB director, which I find hilarious reasoning, as though the ISB director isn't going to do everything to get revenge if he's left alive. But sure, need the big bad for the final mission, I guess. Might as well follow the rule of 2 and make that 2 big bads as Jalen betrays us so Jalen can take control of Zarek Besh instead of Slero by handing over Asara's rebels to the Empire. With Indy 5 still stuck under Jalen's control thanks to that restraining bolt on him, we cannot leave him behind because he is an important part of this team, and my god, of all games, I had no expectation that Outlaws would have one of its biggest focuses on humanizing droids like Indy, and I really appreciate that element more than any other part of the game. Having the genius move to infiltrate the Star Destroyer that Jalen, Slero, and Indy 5 are all on dressed as a stormtrooper so that Kay can get close enough to Indy 5 to ram a freedom stick into him that will remove his restraining bolt, we watch as Jalen is given permission from Vader to take control of Zarek Besh and kill his brother Slero. For absolutely no good reason that I can tell, at that moment Kay reveals herself, blasting a trooper and leaving herself vulnerable to Indy, who now chases her through the halls. Why wouldn't she just wait to get closer to ram the stick into Indy, removing him as a threat? Who can say? Maybe she just wanted to be sure we had him as the unexpected final boss, as he tries to kill us while we have to stealth around, so we can stun him long enough to just shoot his restraining bolt off? That works too, I suppose, but I feel like we should have just started with that if that was an option. Oh well. Indy 5 kills Jalen for us, and after another sharing of my fist with everyone I meet, we escape the ship, blow up the Imperial Star Destroyer with both Rebel and Crimson Dawn assistance, and call it a day. A little anticlimactic, I gotta say, but regardless, we win. Huzzah! After 56 deaths over 26 hours, 17 minutes, with just one tutorial exception, I've beaten Star Wars Outlaws without a blaster. It was a rather tough start, but once I acquired the right skills and the right gear, everything fell into place just like any good Outlaw story. I honestly did like the game more than I expected to. It's by no means my favorite, but especially with Indy 5's story, it had heart in the writing and a clear Star Wars fondness in it, while very much lacking polish overall. But a good challenge like this one usually helps remedy problems like that to make it more interesting. Thank you all for watching, I truly hope you enjoyed. I'm off now to enjoy a pleasant game of Sabacc. Maybe 2 pleasant games of Sabacc. However many I need to until I win. I'll see you all later after I've lost my life savings. Take care!